Hey there, friends. Dave Paulides, Canadian Missing Project, copyrighted edition for our video channel. This is Huck L. Berry. She is the executive producer of the show, giving her the side eye right now. And she's been a good girl today. Been out running around, even though it's freezing cold outside, huh? Yeah, you're a good girl. Yeah, you're a good girl. Yes, a good girl. Yes. Yeah. Oh, the big yawn. Thank you very much. And let's not forget, have you watched our trailer for our new movie that's coming up, American Sasquatch, Man, Myth, or Monster? It's available to watch right here on our channel. Just Google YouTube, Can-Am Missing Project, go to that page, hit the video, scroll down, you'll see the video. And you can make comments about it. I wish you would. And I wish you would post that on your social media. It would help us a lot get the word out. And to say the least, Dave is fired up today. Yes, this is not your normal Dave. I'm actually even more fired up than normal. And I can't say I'm angry, I'm sad. I can't really say what I am. I'm kind of all the above, but on the category of very, very of all the above. Remember, we talked about a boy who disappeared named Darius MacDougall, Crow's Nest Pass, Alberta, British Columbia border. Out in the woods, never found. I'm going to give you an update today. And I want you to sit down, pay attention, have a coffee to keep you awake, alert, and I want you to pass this around what we're talking about. October 14th, 2025, Canadian TV. Family of Darius MacDougall releases statement following unrelated family death. The family of a 6-year-old boy who went missing in southern Alberta has released a statement. The family shared the statement on Tuesday through the Bring Darius MacDougall Home Facebook page. The post is the first time the family spoken publicly since MacDougall went missing September 21st, 2025. The boy and his family were camping on Crown land in the Livingston Public Land Use Zone last month. Crow's Nest Pass. They say they arrived on on September 19th with a group that included grandparents, aunts, uncles, and cousins, all of whom were there to celebrate a few birthdays. MacDougall was there with his dad, his dad's girlfriend, and her daughter, Kaya. MacDougall's mother wasn't with the group, the post said. The post says that the family was packing up their campsite on Tuesday, September 21st, as they prepared to leave. The kids were playing on the island adjacent to camp, just across a creek, where the adults could see them, the post reads. Darius, Kaya, and an unnamed cousin were playing together with other kids close by when Darius went missing. They turned their backs. Darius was gone. According to the post, the children immediately let their family know. His grandmother called 911 and search and rescue teams were on site in 20 minutes. After 11 days of searching by hundreds of volunteers from Alberta, BC, Saskatchewan, there was no sign of the missing boy, and the formal search was called off. The statement indicates that Kaya, remember Darius was with Kaya and an unnamed cousin. The statement indicates that Kaya passed away in a separate tragic event. RCMP confirmed they responded to a medical emergency, but said the death is not criminal. An obituary indicates the young girl was 6 and died on October 10th at Alberta Children's Hospital in Calgary. Quote, this was an unexpected, horrible tragedy for a family already feeling broken from Darius's disappearance, the post said. We'd like to thank the staff of Pincher Creek, Stars, and Alberta Children's Hospital for their love and care of Kaya, the family said. Here's another article about it. October 14, 2025, exclusive. Family of missing boy Darius suffers another tragedy as sibling 6 dies. A southern Alberta family is grieving the loss of 6-year-old Kaya Warrior. Kaya was a stepsister of Darius MacDougall, the 6-year-old boy who went missing while on a walk Crow's Nest Pass on September 21st. Details of her passing announced this week. This is what the sentence says. Details of her passing announced this week were not announced. Kaya was remembered by her family as a bright and loving child who will be deeply missed and forever remembered with love. Funeral services are tentatively scheduled for October 17th and October 18th. Family members Buffy, Jody, Abby, and others expressed heartfelt gratitude and support. It's a picture of Kaya and Darius. Darius disappeared while walking with siblings, including Kaya, near Island Lake Campground, roughly 4 kilometers south of Crow's Nest Pass and 250 kilometers south of Calgary. Here's another picture of Kaya. Super cute girl. After an extensive ground and air search, RCMP announced they have called off active search operations, saying they believe Darius is no longer alive if he remained within that search area. That's an interesting quote. If he remained in the search area. Well, if he wasn't in the search area, or they think he's not in the search area, then why didn't RCMP go outside it? Back to the article. Police Search and Rescue Alberta will no longer be on the scene, said Corporal Gina Slaney. The area has now been reopened to the public. Moving forward, all information and tips will be carefully evaluated and thoroughly investigated. Authorities said Darius, who has autism, may have difficulty responding to searchers. RCMP Superintendent Rick Jenny noted that investigators will continue to rely on public information. The challenging reality, sometimes we need some help from luck, fate, or a higher power, depending on what you believe. It may be a hunter or someone recreating in the area who ultimately helps us find answers. Officials emphasize that no foul play is suspected in Darius's disappearance. As the MacDougall and Warrior families continue to face profound loss, community members across Alberta have shared condolences and online support. Here's the obituary for Kaya. It is with profound sadness that we announce the passing of Kaya Ryder Warrior, lovingly known to family and friends as Honey Badger. Kaya was born on September 13, 2019 in Lethbridge, Alberta, and left this world in the early morning of October 10, 2025 at the age of 6 at the Calgary Children's Hospital and embraced by those who loved her most. Kaya is predeceased by her father, Lacey Warrior, and survived by her mother, Buffy Gaudry. Brothers Nathan, Yellowhorn, Jacoby Warrior, Gunner Warrior, Clayton Warrior, sisters Coda One Owl, Alexis One Owl, Kazia Warrior, Kaylin Warrior, Jordan Warrior. Kaya's adventurous spirit and fierce determination endeared her to everyone she met. She brought joy and laughter to her family and community. And her family will continue to inspire those that knew her. I'm having a tough time with this one, you guys. Hold on. It's not the end. The last article. Please keep paying attention. This is important. Edmonton Sun, October 16th, 2025. Family of missing boy speaks out. Calgary. The family of 6-year-old Lethbridge boy who went missing September 21st in the Crow's Nest Pass has released a statement providing details of the circumstances around his disappearance and the effort that first day to try to find him. An extensive 11-day search involving hundreds of search and rescue personnel and RCMP drones, helicopters, dogs began September 21st but turned up no sign of Darius. Search was called off October 1st. The weekend the autistic boy went missing, the family was camping on Crown land in the Livingston public land use area. Darius's father, his girlfriend, and her daughter, Kaya, were among the family members at the gathering, reads a family statement posted Tuesday on the Bring Darius MacDougall Home Facebook page. His mother was not present when the boy disappeared. The morning of September 21st, the family was packing up and getting ready to leave. The children were playing on an island adjacent to camp just across the creek, where the adults could supposedly see them. Darius, Kaya, and an unnamed cousin were walking and playing together with other kids close by when Darius went missing. It says they turned their back and Darius was gone. The kids immediately told adults, according to the Facebook post, and Darius's father and grandfather took off in opposite directions in search of him. The grandmother called 911. According to the post, search and rescue personnel were setting up within 20 minutes. We searched long into the night the first day, hoping for a quick resolve to a very scary incident. End of quotes. The family statement says that Kaya Tayan Rider Warrior died in a separate tragic accident, or a separate tragic event. The obituary says that the 6-year-old died on October 10th at Alberta Children's Hospital. This was an unexpected, horrible tragedy for a family already broken. That's Kaya. Now, Kaya was there when Darius disappeared. She and an unnamed cousin said that Darius disappeared when they turned their back. It was that quick. Let's, for the sake of argument, say that that is exactly true. Do you know how many times I've heard that? Probably at least 50. From parents, kids, relatives. They were there 1 minute, I turned my back, they were gone. True. I was talking to some police officer friends this week about what I just read you. And I asked them if they had ever heard of a family losing one child and then within a month, another child in that same family passing away. Nobody ever has. It's unimaginably horrific. I will say the family has a right to privacy. Medical issues are private family events. This is the part where it gets tricky for me. If Kaya died from something 150% unrelated to what happened at Crow's Nest, it's none of our business what she died of. If there's a 1/10 of 1% chance it's related, I want to know. Did she catch something while she was there, possibly? Did the turmoil of what happened up there have an effect on her as a person? Because you know it did on their family. Now, on a side note, in the last several weeks, I've been contacted by people who were involved in this. Not family, not friends. I won't say who. I said I would protect them, and I will. And that area up there has a lot of strange things going on. And the innuendo that was given to me by the people that contacted me is that they The perception was it wasn't related to a family issue. It happened exactly the way that it was said right there. And everyone has a problem with, how could that happen so quickly? Well, I get that. But if you follow Missing 411 for a while, you know it can happen that quickly. I can't imagine what that family is going through. I can't imagine. So that's my update on Darius. And now it's Kaya, because Kaya will be forever associated with Darius's disappearance. Pray for the rest of those kids. Pray for the uninvolved cousin who was with them at the time, who we don't know who it is, how old they were. But how would you like to be that one last remaining person of the trio? Whew. Wow. Okay. The one case we're going to cover today, and it's a doozy. Yeah, it is. It's a case you guarantee you've never heard about it. Because on the good side of it, it's highly unusual. It's in an area that I've written about extensively. Many disappearances in this area. It involves a young boy. 10 articles say he's 13, 10 articles said he was 14 when it happened. His name was Michael Helferty. Here's Michael. I'm going to go with that he was 14 years old, missing July 30th, 1960. Michael had an older brother who was 16. They lived with Mr. and Mrs. Jerry Helferty in Picton, Ontario. Picton sits on the water adjacent to Lake Ontario and just west of Kingston, Ontario. If you're readers of my books, this will all say, oh, I remember that area. I've chronicled many unusual cases on, in, and around Lake Ontario on the US and Canadian side. That body of water, something's odd with it. That's all I'll say. Something is very odd. So Picton is right here. This is the US-Canadian border, Lake Ontario. This is Kingston. This would be the far northeast side of Lake Ontario. Got it? Put your feet up and absorb what I'm going to tell you, because it's strange. So Michael enjoyed going to the beach on a hot summer day. It was end of July, early August, hottest part of the summer. And he regularly made the 10-mile trek from his home to the beach at the lake. Sometimes he'd go with friends, sometimes he'd hitchhike, but he would get there. On July 30th, 1960, at about 2:30 in the afternoon, told his family that he was going to hitchhike to the outlet beach and he'd be home by dark. His parents, his brother, everyone who knew him said he was a very, very reliably good kid. He always stayed in touch with his parents. If he was going to be late, he'd call them. They never worried about him. At about 2:30 in the afternoon, he left, said he'd be back that night. It's approximately 10 miles to the beach from their house. Well, he leaves his house carrying his swimsuit. That's it. And he had 50 cents in his pocket. Late Saturday night, he hadn't come home. The Helfertys knew something was really, really wrong. And they called the police. Police responded, and they sat down with the family and took all the identifying information and the picture I showed you on Michael. Now, there was a Boy Scout camp right near the location that Michael was going to. So one of the things that the police did is they contacted the Boy Scout group and tried to set them up to search the next day. And they were also setting up more search and rescue to look for him. And they did respond to that beach, and they requested police to send out the Marine unit to look in the waters just in case he was out there. So on August 1st, dragging operations started on the Outlet River near Outlet Beach. They got one report in right away that said he crossed on the Glendora Ferry. Police were investigating every report and sighting that they could get, and they were busy. They put this as a top priority. In 1960, this area was not a high crime area, safe place to go, safe place to be. On August 2nd, soldiers from the Picton Army Camp were assigned to search all of the bush, forests, all the rough area between his home and the beach. And there was a lot of open area there. And the provincial police were getting dozens of reports of sightings, and none up to the point on August 2nd were panning out. As with anything, I've told you this many times before, when you put a photo up like this of a boy, 13, 14 years old, and you say he's missing, everybody in that area where he went to is going to speak up, try to be helpful. About 98% of the time, all the sighting reports are no good. They don't relate to the person you're looking for. But still, you need to put it out and you need to follow it up. Well, at about this time on August 2nd, the local businesses decided to get together and post a $500 reward. That was a lot of money in 1960. Well, the searching continued on August 3rd. No leads led to anything. Hundreds of searchers, Boy Scouts, Army, citizens, they were all looking. They weren't having any luck. A bulletin did go out that described Michael as 5'6", 120 pounds. So if he was 13 years old, he was a decent-sized kid. He had red hair, freckles, last seen wearing a white t-shirt, blue jeans, carrying a bathing suit, and 50 cents in his pocket. That was it. Well, they weren't having any luck. And the police were getting very nervous, as was the family and his brother. His brother was 2 years old. He was 16. They had no leads. They had nothing. No confirmed sightings. None of his friends had seen him. On August 4th, at 6:30 a.m., two men west of Picton were walking to work, and they had just gone by a railroad crossing, and they saw a boy moving very slowly. They described him as looking dazed. And the men walked up to him and recognized him right away as that missing boy, Michael. They knew where he lived based on local reports, and they took him to his house. He was found walking along Highway 14 near the Canadian Railroad crossing. Once Michael got home, his parents immediately took him to see a physician. They were worried about him. He still seemed like he was a little out of it. Dr. Frederick Murphy did a full exam. He didn't find any injuries to Michael, but the doctor stated that he was in a state of amnesia and shock. The doctor said Michael repeatedly spoke like that Thursday was in reality Sunday. Michael remembered that he left on a Saturday and thought that he had woke up somehow the next day, which would have been Sunday. Doctor explained it to him and he said, well, that can't be. He said, no, it is. And then Michael was disturbed about what could have happened for those days that he had no memory. Michael told the physician and his parents that he woke up in a grassy field near Highway 14 in the railroad crossing, kind of near where the men found him. He remembered that as he got up, he passed 7 posts before getting to the road, Highway 14. His parents said he repeatedly believed that it was the day after he went to the beach. He believed it was Sunday, and he was absolutely stunned to hear it wasn't, but it was days into the future. He still had the 50 cents in his pocket that he left the home with. His clothes were kind of dirty, and he was wearing his swimsuit with no underwear. Now, when he left the house, he was wearing underwear and carrying the swimsuit. As Michael is talking about this, my mind's racing 100 miles an hour. I'm thinking about abductions, MUFON abductions. They asked him, what's the last memory you have before you don't have a memory? And he says, I remember hitchhiking and getting a ride from a man who dropped me kind of near the beach, but I had to walk there. He said he remembers walking on Lake Street after getting dropped off and heading towards the outlet beach. He says the next thing he remembers is waking up cold in the grass besides the Canadian National Railway, which would have been just west of Picton. The physician noted that Michael didn't have any sunburn at all. And oddly, the physician said he wasn't hungry or thirsty. And the doctor said he wasn't malnourished or dehydrated. And that flabbergasted everybody, because he says he doesn't remember eating or drinking anything. Mr. and Mrs. Helferty said Michael never had any medical issues. And they said he was an ultra-reliable son that would always call if he was even going to be slightly late. I mean, you can imagine if you're the parents, what are you thinking? If you know nothing about what we're talking about, you're probably flabbergasted. Now, Michael had an uncle that came and was hanging out with the family while he was missing, and his older brother that was 16. The uncle and the brother decided to go to the area where the men found him, near the railroad crossing in Highway 14. They went out there and they counted posts out to the area towards where Michael said he was sleeping and woke up. The pair went out there, and sure enough, they found an area in the grass that looked like somebody was sleeping in it, about Michael's size. There was no tracks leading in, but there was a track leading towards Highway 14. The morning that Michael was found, there was a thick dew left on the grass and the plants in the area. Michael was completely dry, which does mean he was not there all night. You get that? Now remember, there was a huge search for Michael, then he suddenly shows up. Reasonable to assume that the police would want to know what happened. So Police Chief George Pitt comes out to the family home to interview him. Now, folks, I would say even today, most police officers, they have no clue what we talk about. They know nothing about abductions. They kind of live in their own little criminal world. And probably, I would say 50% or less don't even believe in alien abductions or UFOs. I would say half do, probably. The ones I know do. Well, after the police chief interviewed him, he walked away and made a statement to the press, quote, "Someone is withholding information." That's all he said. And he discounted the physician's diagnosis. That's okay. I understand why he said it. Because in his world, that's what he would think. My world, I believe Michael 100%. There's too many things about the story that he stated, the men stated, and the uncle stated that all make sense when you line them up. Now, fact number one, many abductees report wearing someone else's underwear or not wearing any at all. It seems as though when you're abducted and they're examining you and you're naked, that they don't pay a lot of attention as to whose clothes they put back on you. Amnesia is a common effect associated with abduction. Very high percentage of time. Michael not having a sunburn shows he wasn't outside. He never used the money his parents gave him. Now imagine a 14-year-old kid gone that amount of time. He'd be starving. Of course he'd get something to eat. Being placed back in somewhat the area near where you were taken is like a normal practice. Michael said that when he woke up and started walking, he recognized Highway 14 and he knew the route back to his home. So he was taken back to an area that they knew he could get back to. Having amnesia, being in shock, being dazed, all associated with abductions. The number of times I have heard people associated with missing 411 say by searchers, hey, we found them and they were asleep, or we found them and they were groggy or dazed, the number of times is off the chart. So how long was he there? That's my question. My guess is not very long. Maybe an hour, maybe less. Now I went forward 3-4 years. I never found anything more about Michael. But I'm going to tell you something. I wrote about a story out of Michigan. Young man this is in my books. Young man walking along the beach during the middle of winter, walks out onto the ice of the lake and disappears. Everybody believed he fell through the ice and died. Months later, he said he wakes up on the grass near his parents' home on the East Coast. He doesn't remember where he'd been, doesn't remember anything about being gone. The story reminded me immediately of Michael's story. Immediately. Now, what is it about Michael? Well, is it his red hair? A smaller percentage of the population have red hair? Is it that he never had a medical issue? Is there something about his genetics? But something happened after he was alone. He was dropped off by a man giving him the ride. Point of separation, he walks away and something happened. Near water, it's right near the beach. See what I'm saying? Well, friends, thanks for being here. You are appreciated. Please share this on social media. I would appreciate it. And remember to check our channel regularly. I post every other day. Many thousands, hundreds of thousands of you have been unsubscribed. How do I know that? Because normally I get between 20 and 40,000 people watching my videos. There are 490,000 subscribers. Where are they? Many of you have reported that you've been forcibly unsubscribed and you're not getting notifications. Yeah, frustrating as all heck. But the ones that are here, thank you so much. How can I say thanks a million? I'll continue to post. Very strange day today, I'm telling you. Darius's case really bugs me. And now with Kai, really bugs me. Be safe, be kind, Paulides out.